into it because it's cold like motherfucking Denver, Colorado out here. We're gonna keep it tight, so we're gonna go all the way to the front. Upcoming, we got a doubleheader in the UFC coming up this Friday, the 30th. We're gonna have the Ultimate Fighter finale, um, main evented by Rafael dos Anjos and Kumar Usman, and following that, the next night, which I'm a little confused because I think they came out once and said it was on Sunday, and now they're saying again it's on Saturday, December the 1st. Um, Back-to-back cards. That one is Junior Dos Santos. Let me try to get that thing a little bit. But Junior Dos Santos and Tai Tuivasa. Um, Predicting a couple of fights on either of those two cards, and I'll be releasing my official picks for every fight on the card. Whether I am familiar with the fighter or not, I'll do my due diligence, a little bit of homework, and I'll make a guess. A smart, educated, little well studied guess. Um, as far as Dos Anjos versus Usman, Dos Anjos last fought in the summer, lost to Covington um, for, I think they call it the interim welterweight title that was stripped from him. Excuse me. Interim welterweight title that was stripped from him. He lost a decision in that fight. Before that, he was on a 3-fight winning streak. Um, Safadine, Tariq Safadine, Neil Magny. I keep wanting to say Tom Lawler because of the fucking Ortiz thing, but Robbie Lawler. All wins for Dos Anjos leading up to the loss to the wrestler Covington. Now he's got to face another wrestler, Kamaru Usman, who's 13-1, 8-0 in the UFC, undefeated with notable wins over Leon Edwards, Sean Strickland, Emil Meek, and then most recently Damian Maya, a jiu-jitsu fighter. So he could beat jiu-jitsu guys, he could beat the wrestlers by saying that, and he could beat the strikers by just those wins right there. So I think it's going to be a tough fight for RDA, especially coming off the Covington fight. And I give the same exact fate to that fight. And that's going to be that Kamaru Usman is going to walk out with a decision win there. Usman by decision. The co-main event, he's got a fighter in it that I personally like, Pedro Munoz, who is 6-3 in the UFC. All his losses in the UFC have come to contenders: Rafael Assunção, Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson, all of them. 6-3-1 in the UFC. Sorry, it's no contest because he tests positive for testosterone, higher levels of testosterone. That's way early in the beginning of the USADA days. And I like his skill level. Both got wins over Aljo here. He's fighting Brian Caraway. Caraway hasn't really fought much. He just came back off a 2-year layoff and lost a split decision to Cody Stanman, who, he's also 6-3. I don't know if I said they 6-3 in the UFC as well. So I guess clever matchmaking records wise for the UFC, but Pedro Munoz by submission win, I'm going to say. Pretty early, too. First, second round. Just way more active, way higher level of guys that he's fought. I think the highest level guy Caraway may have fought. I got to check myself because I don't even want to say that. Top team, huh? Yeah. Oh, okay, he beat Joe Wyman. He lost to Sun Cell also. Yeah, no. I got like I just said, Munoz submission, first second round. Um, third fight, Joseph Benavidez, who just got his fight canceled, is coming back to fight Alex Perez, who's also a dangerous flyweight. They're both fighting at flyweight. Surprise. Uh, Division may not be closing, I guess. Why are they still putting on fights at flyweight? Maybe they're waiting for the new year to make it official. But unless these guys are definitely in your plans to move up to bantamweight, I don't understand why you wouldn't just have to fight 10 pounds heavier to save them some of the weight cut. I don't know. I don't know. But Joseph Benavidez, he lost back in June to Sergio Pettis. His track record is actually pretty interesting. He's beat Henry Cejudo. He's beat a lot of um, contenders in the flyweight division. He only has 5 losses. Sergio Pettis in his last fight. 2 to Demetrius Johnson, 2 to Dominic Cruz. That's it. That's it for Benavidez, man. He hasn't really found anyone who could beat him outside those 3 guys. Sergio Pettis is a newer guy, and it was a hell of a close fight. Him and Benavidez at some point, at least. Um, you know, uh, he's hard to beat. He's never been really beat by any other person other than the best. And Henry Cejudo, somebody who just beat the best, lost to Benavidez. Some people think Cejudo won that fight. I personally disagree. I think Benavidez won that fight. Um, Perez on an 8 fight winning streak. 3 of those fights coming in the UFC. One of them before that in the Dana White Contender Series. So I guess you can consider 4 of his 8 fights win streak in the UFC. Um, his past 2 were against Eric Shelton and Jose Torres, which is impressive to beat Jose Torres. Um, uh, Still impressive. I like the 8 fight win streak. Anything can happen there. I think I would think Benavidez comes in as the favorite, and so I would think Alex Perez is a good underdog pick if I was gonna pick underdog. But I like Joe Benavidez too much, and I'm gonna submit my pick as Joey. Hopefully, riding out a submission, he could figure out a way to neutralize Perez. Very explosive. Um, uh, Joe Benavidez, third round decision. Because it's gonna be a third round, 3 round fight. Um, so just the top 3 on that one. I didn't really want to go too far into depth. Of course, I'm gonna release the card, but I want to talk a little bit more about the Saturday night card. Uh, Junior Dos Santos versus Tai Tuivasa. Tuivasa is pretty simple. Um, the guy's 8-0, 3-0 in the UFC. Uh, he's beaten. He had that fight with Rashad Coulter. I actually watched that fight in New York, at my grandmother's house in New York. Uh, and it was a sick flying knee. And then what's that guy Asker? He got that. He clacked him up with those elbows, and Asker went out. And then he beat Arlovsky. It was a tough fight for him, but he beat Arlovsky. Um, Before he got into the UFC, he beat UFC vet James McSweeney. So I mean, he's up there with talent. It's not like he is just some guy off of. He's 7-0. He's some rookie. He's beaten high level guys. Maybe Arlovsky was past his prime. Maybe McSweeney's past his prime, but he's still beating these guys, man. He's beating these top guys. Uh, Dos Santos, I think Junior Dos Santos is a little bit past his prime, but I think he's still close enough to his prime to be two of us real first test. Because, of course, Andre was his first test as to now, and Andre's, he's fighting very well recently. recently, since I'd say November of last year is the first fight that I seen, and I was like, whoa. I was like, damn, I think he fought. Can't remember who he fought. Man, I'm gonna keep going to my little Google. Yeah, I totally murdered the spelling of that, but they're gonna correct me. They're gonna correct me a second time. I'm gonna go to his Wikipedia page. I got a notification today that Wikipedia was thinking about trying to charge us money to to use Wikipedia now, or they want like some kind of donation or something. Fuck out of here, son. But yes, I was correct actually. I wouldn't watch this fight in Norfolk, Virginia. Excuse me. He was coming off of a 5 fight losing streak. Okay, where he had got finished in 4 of those 5 fights that he lost in. And November 11th of last year, he fought Junior Albini and fought amazing. Got himself to a decision win there. His next fight was against Stefan Struve. He got himself to another decision there. He lost the decision to Taiju Uvasa, and then I can't pronounce his name, but Shamil, long ass last name. He lost to that guy by decision just recently, but he's looking like a better, not as how you say like chocolate delish, man. You know, he's looking definitely younger than Chocolate Del. So and he's looking good, man. He's not looking old school head kick and knock people out, but he's looking like his head kick still probably hurt a good bit, you know. Uh so I don't mean to get too far off topic, but he's beating big name guys. Dos Santos, on the other hand, is what he's one of those guys who's slowing down a little bit in his career, and he's fought once a year since 2014. This is going to be his only time since 2014. 13 was the last time he fought twice in a year. He will fight twice in a year. Um, in December, where he just fought back in what was it? Ivanov, July, so summer. He beat Ivanov. Um, it's just a little bit of inactivity from the old timer. Um, I don't know. Maybe he takes time off like that to recuperate his body because he's getting older in age. Maybe that works a little bit better for those kind of guys. Because Dos Santos, sorry, he doesn't lose his power. You know, he's gonna always come out there and try to knock somebody out, and I think that's gonna be a clash of styles with Tuivasa, and Tuivasa is probably gonna come out there way like bigger than Dos Santos. I got Tuivasa knockout, especially if they come out guns blazing like that first round, second round. Tuivasa by knockout. Um, Pray for me, kids. I haven't done good in the last couple of cards. I mean, the fucking Beijing card, it's like, who the fuck? But, yeah, I haven't been doing it lately. I'm fucking 500, a couple fights over 500. God, I gotta pick it up, man. Second fight, co-main event that they're marketing as co-main event is Mark Hunt, Justin Willis. Hunt. Ooh. Mark Hunt is a legend of the sport of mixed martial arts, fighting in general. Pride Days, um, Walk Off King. There's a lot you could say about Mark Hunt. Um, he's fought 2 other times in 2018. So unlike Dos Santos, he is extremely active. It is believed that this will be his retirement fight by some. Maybe he's hinted at that before. He's maybe said something like that before, but some people perceive this as his retirement fight. Um, he's coming off of both his fights in 2018. He lost Curtis Blades and Alexei Olenek. Um, Uh, Justin Willis, 7-1 in MMA, period. 8 fights in MMA. 3-0 in the UFC. We got in the UFC after 5 fights. He's beat Chase Sherman and Alan Crowder. I think Mark Hunt is going to knock his fucking head off. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's his retirement fight. We did him a fucking service. Thank you. This is what you do for a guy's retirement fight. You don't give fucking BJ Penn Yair Rodriguez when he's trying to retire. You fucking douchebag. You fucking you give Mark Hunt Justin Willis. That's what happens. You might win, but I got Mark Hunt by knockout in the first round. Walk off straight to the mic to announce his retirement in his hometown. Great ending to the story. Tyson Pedro in the third to last fight against Shogun. Another one of those guys that's just he's an older guy. He just like Dos Santos. He's fought once every year since 2014. This is going to be the second time, 2018, uh, to where he fought earlier this year, and he lost that fight to Anthony Smith. He also has losses since 2014 to OSP and Dan Henderson, and wins to Noguera, John Vellante, and Corey Anderson. So I mean, he's only beaten middle tier guys, older guys, or middle tier guys. He's losing to the elite as of late, even though Henderson was the furthest away. That was the first fight of 2014, so that's the first fight we're going off of. On the other hand, Tyson Pedro, not that much experience, 7-2. Um, was 6-0 until his 2 losses to top contenders OSP, who also defeated Shogun, and Ilir Latifi, who is a great wrestler, and Pedro being a submission artist, and Latifi being so wide and not really having a big neck, and just being a really good wrestler, kind of undid his strengths there a little bit, if that kind of makes any sense. But he's on a streak there. Uh, he's 3-2 in the UFC because of that. Um, he won his first fight against Khalil Roundtree Jr., who we just seen get demolished by Johnny Walker. So I mean, I guess his name is a little bit run through the mud at the moment, but still a top contender, somebody that we've seen knock people out at a high level, and this guy beat him early in his run, Tyson Pedro. I think Pedro takes this fight to the ground. I think Shogun does very well on the ground. Tyson Pedro might want to stand it back up, and I think we might be surprised. Shogun starts landing. We have a long fight. I think it goes to decision, but I think Tyson Pedro inches over a split decision win over Shogun. Um, and then the fourth to last fight. The only reason I predicted this one on here is because I personally liked Tony Martin, even though I might not pick him. I'm gonna decide my pick as I talk this out to you guys. As I hear it with my own ears, I'm gonna make my pick. But I like Tony Martin. I like to see. I've seen what he has been doing, and I like the overall his fighting style. I'm a real big fan of Ryan LaFleur, but his entire fight with Ryan LaFleur leading up to that knockout was incredible. It was incredible. It looks like he may be climbing fast. 6-4 in the UFC, so I guess middle tier. Um, 2-0 since his return to middleweight. And then, like I said, that head kick knockout to Ryan LaFleur. Jake Matthews is 3-0 since returning to heavyweight. His losses at lightweight, 155, come from Kevin Lee, James Vick. He's 7-3 in the UFC with 17 fights in MMA. So, I mean, I guess they're a little bit at the same point in there, a little bit same, maybe a little bit further behind Tony Martin, but very close nonetheless. And I'm gonna give it to Tony Martin. I like the way he looked in the Flair fight. I loved the way he was fighting before the knockout, and I believe that's what has led him to the knockout. So I'm gonna go Tony Martin, decision, unanimous decision. Um, Last thing, go over the Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell problem. I don't really have a problem with Chuck Liddell getting paid $250,000. I don't. He's a legend of the sport. I don't care if you're hard on money. I don't care if it does well for you, if it pays for his daughter's fucking school, whatever the fuck it does. If Chuck Liddell got us, he got 250 plus whatever fucking Goonie paid the money to watch that. I guess he split some kind of revenue or whatever. So 250 plus whatever that is. For what? One round? Get knocked out one more time, and he was speaking. He was speaking full sentences and talking just as well. He was talking before the fight, right after, directly after. Um, you know, I hear you. He's an old guy, man. I watched the fight because I wanted him to not be an old guy. I wanted him to come out there and him to actually be fast, and it to be like a just like something you never seen before, man. Like an old man that's that fast and he's still knocking out Tito Ortiz, who we just seen fight like a year and a half ago. This guy that we just watched fight Chael Sonnen, who Chael Sonnen just fought Fedor Emelianenko, who was contemplating one of the greatest of all time. And although Chael didn't look his best in that fight, um, it doesn't really matter about that. These guys are all fighting each other um, at this time, and if Chuck would have came in there, Chuck would have looked fucking fresh and hit him with his jab and hit him with a pap 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 with that right, and then and Tito would have covered up and he would have hit him from the with those fucking wild man ass fucking punches. Then it would have been something crazy to see, man. Nobody wants to see Tito Ortiz knock out Chuck Liddell, and then he buries the grave and puts him in it. Like, come on, man. He's 50 years old. You're like 7 years younger than him, bro, and you're like celebrating like you just beat up an old man, and you knew it. You talked about it the whole time. You watched him train, and you were just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go fuck this guy up," and you went and fucked him up, and that's. I hear you. He beat you twice. I'm in your shoes. I don't like you, Tito. If I'm in your shoes, I do the same thing. I go fuck him up one time. Because he beat me up twice. I'd do it, even if he was old. I'd do it if you have two broke legs. Two broke legs. You agree to fight me? I'm beating your ass if you beat me twice. Doing it. I don't care. You agreed to it, man. So he was just taking his opportunity. So I can't be mad at you, Tito. But goddamn, that shit shouldn't happen, man. Secondly, you guys are all promoting. If you want to get paid, if you want to get treated right as a fighter, yada yada, come over there. You, Tito, made 200,000. You're the person to say that. Chuck made 250 on payroll. Nobody else on the card made above 10 grand, man. Dude, the people that open the fucking card on Fight Pass, on something that you can get for an app, no TV, no pay-per-view, no box, no nothing like that. An app, okay? These guys, 20 and 20. 20 and 20. You know what I'm saying? 10 and 10. You know? 10 and 10 with fight, show up on fight night, win bonuses, this, that. They're not. Dude, nobody gets paid 10 grand in the UFC. Under 10 grand anymore. Like, it's not the old days, bro. You can't be like, oh, if you want to get paid right and then you pay people 10 grand, everybody on the card, the fucking co-main event, like 10 grand, the co-main event, both guys, Tom Lawler, another legend of the sport. You don't know him. You said in the press conference you don't know him. God, I can't keep going on, man. Don't do that again, Oscar. Quit doing that. I know you did that because Dana uh, threatened and said he was going to come in and zoo for boxing. He's doing that, man. He's got a passion for it. He likes boxing, and he's gonna come in there and do that. And if you can get, you see how he hasn't put on an event yet, right? He don't got fighters like that. He's got to get fighters that want to put their career on pause while other fighters come and get recruited, so that they can put on one big ass card to start their shit. Obviously, what he's doing, he opened it what when the McGregor shit happened, a little bit after the McGregor shit happened with Floyd, like a fucking year and a half ago, bro. Duh, what the fuck? He just hasn't done it yet, man. You did it within fucking. You opened your Golden Boy MMA, and you did your fight within like 6 months, bro. Bocce as fuck. Bocce as a motherfucker. Don't do it again, Oscar. Please. Buck, you pit we out. Nothing this weekend. See you next Tuesday.